Welcome, Maywood families. I'm Erin McKee. I'm your principal, and this is my 4th year at Maywood Middle School. I love this community. I previously was up at Liberty as an assistant principal, and I just think we have wonderful kids in this community. We wanted to make a video for our families, our new families to Maywood, so you felt more ready for the school year, especially with all the uncertainty uh, that we're experiencing. I know this is a scary time, but I want all of our families and students to know that uh, all of us here at Maywood are so dedicated to making this a positive experience and making sure that our students learn and grow and enjoy their learning. So here's a picture of the front of our school. We're very much looking forward to the future when we can bring our students and families back inside our beautiful building. It's a great place to be, but our community is not just a place. It is composed of really amazing people. Our teachers, our classified staff, our students and our families are pretty much second to none. So I could be a little biased, but let me tell you a little bit about some important pieces for our new students. Our web program is our Where Everyone Belongs program, and it helps our new students transition to Maywood and to middle school. It's focused very much on relationship building and making those positive connections with other students and also with our staff members. Creating a positive community in our classroom is our #1 priority. And so you'll see that our teachers the first week of school or so will be focused on those activities that are slightly less academic and more geared towards creating that positive classroom environment grounded in what are our expectations, how can we help you, things like that. You will see that your child's schedule, day-to-day schedule, will look a little different than what we've typically have had in the past. Our remote learning schedule was sent out on district and school e-news not that long ago, and does have some block scheduling. So we have periods 1, 2, and 3 on Mondays and Thursdays, and periods 4, 5, and 6 on Tuesdays and Fridays. And we do have teacher-student support time in our schedule, and we have charger time, or what you'll see on the schedule as SEL, or social emotional learning time, on Wednesday mornings. I very much like this schedule. I think it prioritizes good teaching practices in the remote environment, as well as that student support throughout the schedule. Digital citizenship will be more important than ever. It's important that our students are engaging in safe and healthy ways online. Our Maywood motto of be safe, be kind, be respectful, and be your best apply 100% to the virtual school environment, and your child's teacher will go over their classroom expectations that first week of school. Remote learning will look different, and our teachers and other staff have been working so hard to increase their knowledge and capabilities to provide that experience for your children this year. So I think you're going to see some more coordination, some really great practices to engage our students and get them learning at high levels, even if we can't be together in person. We will have materials distribution that will certainly include a few textbooks and novels and such, art supplies and whatnot. If you did order Spiritware in the spring, we are planning to distribute that as well. All of those plans will go out on our e-news. That will be for all of our families, not just new to Maywood families. So stay tuned, make sure you're getting those e-news messages. But what I really want to share with you is we're doing things differently. We're doing a lot of things differently now. We have to. And I want to assure you that everything we're doing is putting student success at the center. That is our focus, and that is what we're going to do this year.
Hi, I'm Crystal White, and I'm one of the assistant principals at Maywood. I serve families with last names A through L, and we are really excited to have you as part of our Maywood community, and hoping that we can be here to support your children and you throughout the upcoming year. I've been at Maywood for 20 years, and this is my 5th year as an assistant principal at Maywood Middle School. So I want to talk about a few of the behavior expectations. One thing that we share as an overarching theme at Maywood is our motto. The Maywood way means to be safe, be kind, be respectful, and be your best. And those 4 areas carry out throughout our building, within the classroom, athletic fields, activities, clubs, how we conduct ourselves virtually. So we're really proud of that theme, and we all adhere to it in our building, and as do our students. There will be some class expectations that may be different from how we were prior to learning in a remote setting when we left the building in the spring, and how we're starting our school year this year. So please know that teachers will be reaching out to students about what the expectations are for a class, and we'll also be helping as an admin team to help students understand, the best ways to be their best learner. There will also be lessons on digital citizenship, which have always been important, but maybe not as important as they are in our current situation. So we'll be sharing that information with students and with families on how we can help students learn and conduct themselves digitally, and how to be the best citizen that they can in all of those learning platforms. When we're in a virtual remote setting, it's still important to think about appropriate appearance when they're on the camera, what the background we may see in wherever their learning space is. Could be a bedroom, could be a kitchen table, could be on a back patio, wherever that may be. Just want to be mindful about what that background is. It's also going to be important to be attending classes. So this start of the school year is going to look a little different than it did in the spring, and attendance is going to be really important. So we need students to engage and participate. The main platform that students are going to be learning from will be from Canvas, and that's the way that they're going to start their day on the learning platform, and how they will engage with teachers. And we really heard from families in the spring, not only from families but from staff as well. The ISD took a lot of good information and put it into practice so that we could all have a common ground where we're starting with Canvas, and then everybody starts there, and all the information that you will need will be within that setting. So more to come on that, but it should prove to be much less stressful and much easier to navigate. Also, it's going to be important for families to check family access on a regular basis, and when you do that, you can see what grades are. You won't see upcoming assignments, but you will see grades as they are posted. And there is a buffer time for teachers to post grades. Those are not posted daily. There needs to be time built in for them to look over assignments, give feedback. Sometimes there's multiple opportunities before grades are posted. Also, it's going to be really important for you to communicate with the teacher. That's the first person that you should be communicating with any classroom concerns, and or anything that's directly related to a classroom expectation, learning environment, assignment, any of the curriculum. And of course, you can let us know if you need some additional help with that. This is definitely a learning process, so we are here to support you, and we're really confident that this is going to be a good experience, and that we're going to provide the best education we can for students within this setting as much as possible. I also want to talk about, let's see if my Everything will advance. Let's go here. Student recognition, we're really proud of at Maywood, and we did continue many of these things in the spring out when we were out of the building, when we left the classroom. We're going to be looking for more ways, and we're already talking about ways to strengthen this process, because now more than ever we believe it's important to recognize all the great things that students are doing. And so we have Charger Gold is a program that we recognize students for being courteous, helpful, academic, respectful, generous, enthusiastic, resilient, and studious. And we're going to continue to recognize students in those areas. It's going to stretch our imagination, but we really do want students to know how much we appreciate all the great things that we do. We will continue, as we did in the spring, with Students of the Month, and recognize those students and have a way to celebrate those students and provide some kind of an incentive for them for being such great citizens in our building. There is also a Charger Green program that our Green team has put together, and we'll be looking for ways to recognize students again for that, how they promote sustainable and earth-friendly practices within our building and most likely within our community as well. And then Charger Cheers were a bit of a spontaneous recognition that we had going on in the past, where any adult staff member could hand out a small Charger Cheer token to any student that was modeling any desired behavior within our setting. Now the challenge will be how they're doing that in a remote setting. And I know that there are opportunities for students to exhibit those same behaviors even when they're online. So we're going to be looking for those, and we're going to be recognizing those as well, because it's a really important piece of who we are at Maywood, of recognizing students for the great work that they do, not only academically, but for being a great citizen and young person within our community. So those are just a couple of the things that we want you to know about. Please know that we are here to answer questions and help make this as the best school year that it possibly can be in the situation that we're in. We really care about your students, and we care about you as a community member as well. So please reach out when you have any questions or concerns.
Hi, this is Andrew Stevenson. I'm one of the assistant principals at Maywood Middle School. I'm going to talk to you about free and reduced lunch. If you qualified for free or reduced lunch last school year, you are still qualified until the beginning of October. You will need to fill out a new application. A couple ways to do that is that you can click on the link to fill out an online application for free and reduced prices. Copies of forms are available in the office by appointment or can be printed from the district website. Paperwork can also be mailed or faxed to the address on the forms. We will be doing a materials pickup and distribution of materials at the start of the school year. These items include textbooks, novels, instruments, technology, and other items as appropriate. We're still working out the logistics, and this will probably be happening sometime in the first few weeks of school, starting in September.
Hello, my name is John Garner, and I work closely with clubs and activities. Here at Maywood, clubs play such a vital role for students and staff. Clubs are important because they have a positive impact on student engagement and learning. They support social and emotional well-being. They're a place for students to build relationships with both students and staff. And students who participate become more connected to school, which oftentimes leads to greater success in the classroom. Which is why we are dedicated to offering clubs during remote learning. Stay tuned to learn more about which clubs will occur virtually. I also work very closely with athletics. Unfortunately, in consideration of the Issaquah School District Board's July 30th decision to start the school year in a fully remote way, Season 1 sports have been canceled. We will review the possibility of offering cross-country, volleyball, and co-ed softball later in the school year when and if conditions allow. And the same goes for Season 2, 3, and 4 sports.
Hello, my name is Kristen Beasley, and I'm one of the school counselors here at Maywood. Today I'm going to be talking to you about our Counselor Alpha Breakdown, communication, grades, and how to help your students set up a positive learning environment at home. Our alphabet breakdown is Nicole Keller, A through HI. I have students HJ through PE, and Carly has PF through Z. You will also get the opportunity to meet Nicole and Carly later in this presentation. Communication here at Maywood, we have multiple ways that we do communicate through e-news. We also will be integrating the student-issued Issaquah School District emails, where every student will have an email address via Issaquah. Additionally, some teachers will also have texting through Google Voice. Each counselor here at Maywood accesses that, and we all have those phone numbers on our website. We've had great success last spring in communicating with families directly or students directly via Google Voice texting. And what's different at Maywood is we don't have classroom newsletters like elementaries do. However, you can communicate with your teacher directly via email, via phone call, voice, Google Voice if your teacher does use that. And it's really important that if there's questions or concerns specific to the subject, that you first reach out to that teacher and try to work through the issue or get your questions answered. Should that continue to be a concern or you need additional support, you can always reach out to the counselors or an administrator. Integrating Canvas this year is going to be a really great tool, and we recommend that your student definitely use the to-do list on Canvas. Also, we all recommend that you and your student sit down and your student shows you how to access all the information, one on Canvas and then how to log into Skyward under their student access. It's really good for your student to be able to show you what they are doing. Skyward Family Access is another place of communication for you to go and see your student grades and any other, the schedule or whatever other communication that might propose in Skyward. Additionally, once the school year starts, we do not make schedule changes, and we work really hard before school starts to meet the requests that were made last spring, and also our master schedule is built on those requests. And so we limit the ability to do any schedule changes by sharing that we don't make schedule changes after the school year has begun. Parents, we also just recommend that you be mindful of guiding your student to success. This is the age and grade where they are coming in as dependent learners, and our goal is to transition them in middle school to become independent learners, where they know how to advocate for themselves by asking their teacher direct questions, communicating to the teacher directly, and them taking on their learning for themselves. So we really just encourage that as well. Grades, mid-trimester progress reports are 6 weeks into the trimester. The end of the trimester report cards are sent electronically, so you'll be able to see those through Skyward as well. Teachers will update grades in Skyward at least every 3 weeks. Ways to assist your student through review teacher websites and Canvas. Those are going to be really powerful tools to learn right at the beginning of the school year. The Canvas to do checklist and Google Documents, emails, making sure assignments are all complete. Creating a positive workspace, just being sure that you find a solid flat desk, a space that they are comfortable, they can sit in a comfortable straight back chair, work in a well-lit space. Also a quiet space. Every student learns differently, but being sure that they're getting to explore what works best for them. Gather all the needs of supplies before the class starts so that the student's not having to get up, get the material, and then therefore missing content. Find a place with little or no distractions and have a healthy snack. Have a student either eat breakfast before the class starts or a snack before the class starts, or have a healthy bottle of water right next to them as the class continues. Moving forward, Carly and Nicole will be talking about social media and the implications of those and what you need to know. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm Nicole Keller, and as Kristen said, we're going to talk a little bit about social media. And we like to talk about the different ways that students might be using very popular social media platforms and accounts, and also talk to you a little bit about safety and how to talk to your student. So we really recommend that parents have open conversations with their students about how they're using social media and how to be safe on social media. So we like to encourage you to be involved and to have conversations let them know that you know what they're doing on social media and make sure that they feel comfortable having conversations with you about what's happening in case something doesn't feel right to them. So we are going to ask that during school time, students are not using social media and are focusing on their schoolwork just like they would in the building. So that kind of goes back to creating a positive work environment that Kristen was talking about. And then when they're not working on school, obviously they're probably going to be on their social media accounts because it's a very popular thing to do for our students. So just making sure that you're having open communication about that and letting them know that you're there to talk to them if something isn't going well, and also just to be aware of what they're using and how they're using it to try and ensure some safety and make sure that things are going okay for them with social media. So now we're going to talk about some specific platforms that students might be using. YouTube is obviously very popular, both with students and adults, and a lot of you might be familiar with YouTube. So a little bit about it, sometimes there are videos that can be labeled as adult content, and so you have to be signed in and you have to prove that you're over 18. There is a loophole to that, is that if you put in a birthday that shows that you're 18 but you're not 18, there isn't really a way for YouTube to verify that. So setting up an account is really easy, and you could definitely put in a birthday other than your own to get around that 18 age limit. So just being aware of that. Comments are allowed in a lot of spaces. So if students are posting videos, people could comment on it, and it could, necessarily cause some issues around negative comments or inappropriate things being said. And obviously, you and I can't control what's being said. So just making sure that in the comments, just knowing that there could be some things said and there might be some conversations that might need to be had around that. Public and private settings for published videos. We recommend, obviously, if students are posting, they may want it to be public so they can get a lot of views, but just making sure that some of the parameters are there to protect your student and their identity. And TikTok. So TikTok is kind of all the rage with a lot of students right now. It's free, and you can watch and create and share videos. Lots of times they include music. And again, the music sometimes can have inappropriate song lyrics or sexual content to them. So just being aware that that could be something that your student is able to access through TikTok. Privacy settings, again, there's public and private accounts. If things are public, pretty much anybody can see them. And there's some location tracking that can happen with public videos. So just being aware that there could be some safety issues or some, the access is widely available if your settings are not on privacy settings. And then live streaming obviously is a big thing with people doing different dances and videos and things like that. So that is an option with TikTok. And again, being careful about making sure that students aren't showing anything that could identify where they are or who they are outside of their account, so that the safety features are there as well. Now Carly's gonna pick up and talk about some more of the different types of social media that students might be accessing.
Hello everyone, my name's Carly Nelson, and next up I'll be talking about Instagram. Instagram is a popular social networking app that lets users post photos and videos. Teens absolutely love Instagram because it allows them to be connected to what they love most, which is their friends. As with any social media platform that we're talking about today, the things that make teens love Instagram the most is that it can be a breeding ground for trouble. Depending on who someone follows or what they search for, you can find a lot of mature content that's not appropriate for our middle school aged adolescents. It also adds a lot of pressure to students' lives because they want to maintain the perfect profile, which leads them to constantly scanning posts and different likes and deleting the ones that don't measure up to what they want. As parents, we want you to be aware of direct messaging. Direct messages can go from one person to one or more people, and they can also be sent from people that are not following your student. Also want you to be mindful of disappearing messages. This is a Snapchat-like feature, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, but it's where students can send a quick little video to one of their friends. But if the settings aren't set up appropriately, they can be then shared with other users. We also want you to be mindful of location sharing, which allows teens to share where they are located at one particular time. And then also that many students will have multiple accounts. They'll have the one that most parents see, which is their ideal persona, their best pictures, their best videos, and then also their Finsta, which is the fake Instagram account, which is kind of where they can be more themselves. And they usually share this with a small group of friends. But be mindful as parents. Does your child have one or more Instagram accounts? The last thing is just making sure that privacy settings are making sure that your student is protected. Make sure that their account is private. Make sure that specific control features within Instagram are turned off. Next, I want to talk about Snapchat. If you have teens, you know about Snapchat. Snapchat gives kids the opportunity to share their everyday moments through videos and pictures. And unlike other platforms where that video or picture is recorded, these are disappearing images, which makes it difficult for parents to track. So a couple things I want you to be aware of within Snapchat is the location feature. Snapchat has embedded a snap map, which shows a student's location to all of their friends, which shows them real time where that person's located. The one downfall is that many Snapchat users have friends that they don't know. So many people that your child doesn't know knows where your child is at all times unless you change those settings. Also want you to be aware of Snapchat snap streaks, which is when students are communicating on a 24-hour period or longer, and they believe that it shows how strong their friendship is with that person. And if they don't keep that streak going, it lets down the friendship. So it's important to be mindful of if your students are following snap streaks, because it can add a lot of pressure to a friendship and cause a lot of anxiety and pressure around friendships and keeping friendships. Also be mindful of the inappropriate content that may be available through games, quizzes, news, and entertainment. And know that just like many of the other social media platforms, Snapchat has features that can be changed to make sure that their practice is much safer and more appropriate online. What we want you to take home from all of this is to be smart and be aware and be proactive. Educate yourselves on these social media platforms. There's a lot of information out there that you can learn about, and don't be afraid to dive in and really practice on some of these platforms yourself so you know what your students and kids have access to. Some of the biggest problems that we see within our building take place from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., where students have access to these profiles late at night. So electronics should sleep too. iPods, iPads, tablets, laptops, all of those things should be checked in at night with a check-in station so that the whole family has everything checked in at once. It's also appropriate to know your students' passwords and usernames so that you can actually log in and review the content that they're looking at to make sure it's appropriate for them. So check the electronics, make sure you know what's going on, and be ahead of the game. It's okay to befriend your child on social media to make sure that what they're doing is appropriate and age level appropriate.
Maywood families, I want to encourage you to join and give your support to the Issaquah Schools Foundation and the Maywood PTSA. We're so grateful for all that these organizations do for our school and for our students. They truly enrich the educational experiences that we're able to provide our students. I've included the links here on this presentation. You can also find the hyperlinked links on our website and also the district website. We will still have Maywood PTSA meetings. I encourage you to log on. Of course, those events will be virtual this fall. Mark your calendars. School starts on September 1st. We know that's 100% remote and it's in the virtual environment. Please check your e-news. We have distributed the live LIVE virtual middle school schedule. You'll see that it's somewhat of a blocked schedule, and we do believe that will be a good model for our students. And there will be online and offline activities for them. Stay tuned for e-news messages and also messages from your child's teacher. We're really dedicated to providing a high quality educational experience for your student this year, even though it might look different. So please mark your calendars for the first day of school on Tuesday, September 1. And even though we won't be able to gather together for curriculum night on September 10th, we will be providing a virtual alternative because it's important to us that you get to know your teachers, your child's teachers, that is, and you understand, the expectations and the units of study and so forth of the courses your child's enrolled in. So we will be keeping curriculum night. It'll just look different. So please check your e-news and the school website. Teachers will be sending out information as well after school begins. And really important now more than ever to make sure that you're receiving those e-news messages because we send out a lot of important info there. Here is what our Maywood website looks like. If you scroll down, you'll see where the recent e-news messages are archived. And you see in this example, the last one to be sent out was August 17th. So it has the most current one featured at the front, but you can always scroll through previous e-news messages whenever you're able to log on. Now, I did send out a link to new families via e-news because I knew folks had a lot of questions on their mind, and I'm hoping that we are able to answer many of those questions. There are a few questions I wanted to field right now. Some common themes I saw in the questions that were submitted. Thank you to those who sent in questions. When will we get our schedules? We will be making those schedules live on August 28th. Typically, we do that the day before school starts because there's quite a bit of legwork that our staff do to finalize those rosters, but we are moving more quickly to get those schedules out quite a bit earlier, a few days earlier, because we want families and students to feel ready to begin this new way of doing school. We received a question about charger time. What is charger time? Charger time, you could think of it as sort of like an advisory class, though we don't call it that. This year with our live schedule, it will be once a week on Wednesday mornings. That's where we deliver the social emotional learning lessons, ASB lessons, and we're looking forward to developing that further and just being a source of support for students. So if you're not familiar with our SEL or social emotional learning, we do use the second step curriculum, which is pretty widely utilized and known, and teachers deliver those lessons in those charger time groups. Supply list. I realized that the 6th grade supply list was taken down. That's because we're rethinking what students actually need now that we know we won't be in the building this fall. So please stay tuned regarding the supply list. And there was a question about spiritware that was ordered in the spring. We're hoping to fold that into materials distribution later on in September, along with textbooks and things of that nature. So I hope that answers the big questions for folks. Again, a lot of questions will be answered via e-news, via district e-news, from messages I send out, messages from teachers. There's still a lot that we're working on. We're working very, very hard because we care about your kids. We care about you. We know this is a really tough time for many of our families, and I just want you to know that we will do our very best for your students this year. Welcome to Maywood.